Hey guys, welcome back on Sunday. Since there is not much going on in Master Duel, we will take a look at the OCG metagame report because this is very interesting. A big shakeup. We have a new set in the OCG and the meta is very diverse. Also, we will get a new leaks possibly tomorrow. So take a look on the channel, take a look for the video that comes out tomorrow because we will most likely discuss new leaks for the upcoming selection pack that will arrive this week. I think on Wednesday or Thursday we will see. Obviously, we will be streaming at the moment right now. If you see this on Sunday evening, there is the YCS going on, YCS live coverage. Go out and check that out if you want to see some stuff from the TCG. Obviously, the TCG is the next thing we will get in Master Duel, and then OCG a bit later on. So we have new product releases, the most important one being Duelist Advance, but we also have the release of the new Sky Striker cards that we have taken a look at before. And you can see that, and we have taken a look at this before. Dragon Tail is at the moment the most represented deck. Dragon Tail, Yummy, and K9 here in combination with Crystron being the new decks from the deck building set. I think it's called not Crossover Breakers. How is this one called? I'm not quite sure, but it's from the new deck building set. And then we still have a Maliss here. Also very interested in seeing how Maliss will perform over this weekend because Maliss has just received the second support wave in the TCG. But we can see right here with Maliss and Ryziel being the strongest decks before, Ryziel has definitely fallen off. If we scroll down here, we can see that there is actually, is there even a single Ryziel deck being played? There are two Ryziel decks here. One Onomat Ryziel, which should be Octa Oig, I think, and one Pure Ryziel, and you can see there's also Primary Blue Eyes, the strongest deck that we have at the moment. There's also the new Vanquish Soul support that has been released in Duelist Advance, shaking up the meta. As you can see right here, we have a very diverse one. This is kind of nice. The first deck and the most represented one, but only by a bit, is Draco Tail or Dragon Tail as they basically call it. And here we have a list where there are the Dragon Tail card combined with the K9 cards. So the upper row would be the new Dragon Tail cards, an archetype that can fuse from the hand with some specific cards like this one here, the crab basically. And then if they are being used as fusion materials so that you get a plus, you can also set from your deck spells and traps from the Dragon Tail archetype. And then we have these K9 ones, which you can make into the rank 5 XYZ K9 boss monsters. You can see down here, and here you can see the Dragon Tail fusion monsters basically. And you can also use them whenever I think a hand trap is used. You can special summon them from the hand via quick effect. And there you can see basic amount of hand traps here, the same ones as we are basically playing in Master Duel, playing the Fuvalos in the main deck here. And then in the side deck, we are obviously still playing Natsea. This is because Maliss is still around. I think that Maliss might be the strongest deck in the OCG right now, but because Dragon Tail as well as Yummy and the K9 variants are newer, also Vanquish Soul, obviously, we are playing a bit more of them, since Maliss is basically an old shoe, you could say, that a lot of people don't want to see anymore, I would assume, but we are still playing triple artifact lands here. The new Maliss variant is a bit more resistant to that, but is still very strong. Also, the Phantasma is very good against Maliss. We can also use them against Yummy, but not as efficiently, but we are playing them in the side deck here. Dino Rest or Pankotrops, and then the Solemn Judgment, the most dangerous card that should hopefully soon be going 2-2 like in Master Duel, because it's such a strong card. And then you can see some floodgates here. Dragon Trail will be very interesting in Master Duel. Also, we will be able to combine this with Branded Despair if we want, but then also with stuff like, as we can see right here, K9. So definitely an archetype I am looking forward to, another fusion archetype. I always like them. Then we have the Yummy deck. If you're not aware, this consists of this level 1 beast monsters here that you can use to go into the synchro monsters, and you can basically also use your Link 1 here as a tuner. This is how you can make the synchro monsters here. For example, you have synchro monsters that can special summon Yummy monsters from the graveyard, and then you have other ones. I think this one is the one that can return opponent cards from the field to the hand. The quick play spell also can, this is the spell that you are seeing right here. This can, I think, bounce 2 monsters back to the hand, so a lot of bouncing happening here, a lot of generating value over time. And you can see that we are also combining this with the Sky Striker stuff and with a lot of board breaker cards as well. We can play Dominus Purge, which is always a very strong strong card if you can play it. And then one lone dimensional barrier that we can get with these triple tactic thrust. Makes sense, you can play this against Yami, calling Synchros. You can also play this against Dragon Tail, calling the Fusion. Maybe this is why they are combining the Dragon Tail with the K9, because K9 gives you access to the XYZ monsters here. And then if, for example, you get Fusion called, then you could go ahead and make the XYZs. Or the other way around, if you start with your K9 stuff and you get the dimensional barrier for XYZs, you can still make your Fusion monsters happening. That could also be a way. So also very interesting, but I think in terms of how the lists operate and how the lists are constructed, especially this Yami list, nothing new and nothing fancy here. We can see there is also the Dragon Tail boss monster here. Not quite sure. Oh, this is for Metaltronus. Okay, we are playing Metaltronus. This was a tech commonly used against Ryziel with the Ryziel boss monster, and now we are also using it against Dragon Tail because this is just a great card. Not only can you implement a specific target like this Dragon Tail boss monster or maybe the Ryziel boss monster, but normally you have some other use cases for this card. In the mirror, for example, it's also very good. So if you ever face another Yami deck, you can also negate the Yami cards, which is why this is a very good card. A bit surprised that we are only playing this at 2 here, because we are playing specific targets here in the deck in order for it to be better, and I would assume 3, but seems not to be the case. Once again, we are seeing the Lancias here obviously against Maliss, and then Purulia, where in the beginning was not that great against Maliss, is now better because now Maliss has the Adignista stuff, Recency added in the TCG, that basically summons from hand. So the backup Adignista, for example, can be special summoned when there is a Cyberse extra deck monster on the field, and then the Wizard Adignista can summon itself and another, I think, Dark Cyberse monster, which means you can get back your Maliss stuff from the graveyard. We have the Maliss Dormouse, the best starter at 1, but we have the quote-unquote replacement here with the Maliss P Marcher. It is not really a replacement, it's more of an extender, but yeah, the deck is super strong, especially with the new Adignista boss monster here that you can see down here, where if it gets summoned, it can summon as many 2300 attack Cyberse monster, would be the Code Talker monster, would also be the Maliss monsters, minus the boss monster, because this one has 2/5 attack, but you can summon them and then you can tribute one of these cards that point to the I think it's called Code Talker Adignista Advanced or something, and then you can negate a card and also banish it. So very strong, very good support for Maliss. We are playing the Dominus Impulse here, very strong in a lot of metas, especially in metas that play stuff like Dragon Tail, where you want to, for example, fusion summon. You can use your Dominus Impulse to negate and destroy the fusion summon, which in this case would also be a monster, going -1 in the hand with that. So a very good card. If you can play it, you normally go ahead and you do play it. And then we can see right here, this is interesting, Dimensional Fissure in the side deck. But yeah, this makes sense, honestly. Going first, just activating Dimensional Fissure, which is actually nice, especially against Dragon Tail, because these fusion monsters want to go to the graveyard with the fusion summon in order to set spells and traps from the archetype. And against Yami, it's also not bad because you can resummon, for example, the little Yamis here with the Synchro Yamis. So if they don't go to the graveyard, then obviously you can't. So it makes sense. Have never thought about this. And we are playing triple infinite impermanence in the side deck. I think I've never seen this, but obviously it's very cool. Artifact Lancia for the mirror match, but Dimensional Fissure here going first because you can as Maliss. Very, very interesting. And then we have Vanquish Soul, the new Vanquish Soul cards. Vanquish Soul gained 3 new support cards in Duelist Advanced, namely Vanquish Soul Holy Sue, Soul Start, and Soul Rocks. Holy Sue is a new effect monster that could be special summoned from hand by revealing one other Vanquish Soul monster from hand during either player's main phase. Very easy to fulfill this condition. And then revealing an Earth and Dark monster from hand. The other effect would basically take control of one monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack until the end phase. Very strong here. Not quite sure which one this is. I think this is Holy Sue. Should be the monster. We are combining this with the K9 archetype. So rarely ever do you see this K9 rank 5 XYZ stuff on its own, but combined with other archetypes. Then we also have the Vanquish Soul Start is a new field spell. They are getting a field spell whose first effect adds one Vanquish Soul monster with a different attribute from the targeted Vanquish Soul monster from deck to hand. I guess you target on the field here, otherwise it wouldn't really make sense. This is nice, but a bit bad that you have to target something and then you have to add something with different attribute, and it has to be a targeted Vanquish Soul monster also. And this effectively turns Vanquish Soul Dr. Madlove into another starter. Normal summon Vanquish Soul Dr. Madlove, and its effect could add Vanquish Soul Start from deck to hand Vanquish Soul Start, because yeah, the Madlove Metlov can search the field spell, could target Metlov and add a Raisin, the fire, because it's a different attribute, of course, that's true. And then Metlov goes into the rock, the link 1, and then you can summon the Raisin. Obviously, a nice Raisin was the best starter before this one here, and now Dr. Metlov is also making the deck better. I really like this because Vanquish Soul, I think, is a very cool deck. You can let me know in the comments what you think. And then we have Vanquish Soul rocks this new XYZ monster. Let's see whether we can identify this. This should be, this is hard to tell, honestly. I guess it's this level 4 here, because the other ones are the level 5s or rank 5s that you would use for your K9 stuff. So this should be this one here, because it's level 4. It's a new XYZ monster that could be XYZ 7 by using one Vanquish Soul monster or one Rock of the Vanquish Star in the turn that the Vanquish Soul monster had battled. Okay, I remember reading this effect. Very interesting. Rock of the Vanquish Star cannot be used as link material, but Vanquish Soul rocks could be used as a stepping stone by using Rock of the Vanquish as XYZ material, and then Vanquish Soul rocks could be used as a link material for SP Little Knight. Okay, very interesting. And then we're combining, as Ada already said, with the K9 package here. So yeah, very interesting. Duelist Advance has definitely shook the meta a bit with the introduction of the new Vanquish Soul cards. But other than that, the top contenders are still here. We have Maliss, we have Yummy, and we have Dragontail, and then the additional K9 support or engine is splashed in a few decks. We have the new Sky Striker that the report didn't talk about, but Sky Striker being back. We have to see in the next week whether this is consistent, Sky Striker being back, or only trying the new cards out, basically. And then there's the White Forest, and yeah, Raziel is basically gone. Very interesting. Also very interesting whether we will see either Raziel or Maliss coming in this pack this month, this week, and you will get more information concerning that most likely tomorrow. So go ahead and check that out. Let me know in the comments what you think of this current OCG metagame. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.